Good morning. It is October 25. I think it's 25. So it's winding down. I got a few more movies to do reviews for, and one of them could be the most important Halloween movie ever made. Now, the movie that I'm reviewing right at this moment is brought to you by the people who did Talk to Me. I haven't done a review on that because I didn't start doing these until after that had come out. Whatever. I may end up doing one on it. Could be something I might show after. And I don't know. We'll think about it. But I had some issues with that movie Talk to Me because the characters were just so stupid. And they just made incredibly bad decision after incredibly bad decision for the whole movie. And it just brought me out of it because I was incredulous. Like the whole time I was like, really? 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 They're just going to pull... I mean, the very first time, like someone comes up, they're like, yo man, I got this bloody stump. You want to possess it? Possess ourselves with it? Like, no. Immediately. You'd be like, no. So they didn't fall into this. They didn't roll into it. They just walked into it blindly, and you're like, how? That makes no sense. So bring her back. This is a newer release to HBO Max. I don't know if it went in theaters or not. I had a lot going on with 2 bands for a while there, so I wasn't going to the movie theaters. I'm down to 1 band now, so ready to roll back into it. I had the same issue with this movie as I had with the last one that these people made. I forget the name of the people who... I think it was Filippo. It's like... I think it's a couple brothers or something. And... this is a good film. So don't get me wrong there. First off, it's a good movie. I enjoyed myself. I think most people who like horror movies or even just unsettling movies would probably enjoy this film. So I'm not going to say this is a bad movie or that I don't recommend it, because I do recommend it. The issue with me with this movie, to a lesser degree. Now, I didn't really like Talk to Me that much because the stupidity was too rampant. But in this film, I was able to, relieve some of my incredulity by just enjoying the movie, even though I had to suspend my disbelief. It wasn't as much, and it wasn't as severe. Although, it was still pretty severe. You're just like, how did this even pass through? Especially when authorities had already been involved in the situation. So, how did it even happen? You gotta let that part of it go. But, this is not a bad movie. It's definitely superior to the last one they did. And there were a couple parts that gave me a good shocking. I would say I was like, wow. One of them I was like, I think I exclaimed, actually, and Shadow was like, what the hell was that? I was like, sorry. Yes, I'm talking about you because you're so pretty. You always there. So, the parts that did shocked me in a pleasantly surprised way. It wasn't like shock just for the sake of shock. I don't think this is it's a tasteful movie. If you're a parent, it would be hard not to have your feelings stirred by this movie. If you're, I don't know, a normal human being. If you're a normal human being who normally expresses normal emotions, you'd probably have a hard time not being touched by this at least a little bit, even as you're creeped out. Because it's a story of grief. It's got a chilling element to it. And being a parent, you know that if your kid died, you would do anything that you could to bring them back. But you probably wouldn't hurt anyone else. um, but would you if you could? If there was actually a way to bring your kid back from the dead by hurting another kid, would you do that? I like to think I wouldn't. But I've never lost my kids. So not only have I never lost my kids, I've never lost my kids and then been given an opportunity to bring them back to life by hurting someone else's kid. I like to think that I wouldn't. But I don't think that we ever really know what we would do until we cross a particular bridge. And that's the day that you find out what you would do, is when that day comes. Because I know a lot of people like to think, oh, if a robber ever came in my house, I got a gun, I'd shoot him right on the spot. I don't think it's as easy to shoot somebody as people might think it is. I don't think it's as easy to take a life as a lot of people just assume in their head that they may be able to. Well, someone wouldn't carjack me, because if they jumped in my car, that'd be the last thing they ever did. We don't always know that. So it's easy to say what we would do, but until you're faced with an incredible choice that has to be made, you don't know what you would do. And I feel like that part of this movie they did a really good job with, because to make you feel badly for an antagonist in a film that's where filmmaking becomes a little bit more, I don't want to say magical, but that's in essence kind of what I'm leaning towards. How you take someone who's doing something that's completely evil, clearly evil, and then make me feel badly for them. That's a pretty incredible thing to be able to do. And they did it in this movie for me. I don't know if they'll do it for everyone, but making me feel bad for the antagonists in any piece of art is impressive to me, because I don't do it that often. And when I do, it makes me enjoy the project more, no matter what the medium is. So in this film, I gotta give it to them. They really stirred the emotions, and if the areas of disbelief that I had weren't as stark, so maybe if it was written a little differently, or maybe if the setting was a little bit different, I may have liked it even more, because they did an awesome job with this movie, and I'm looking forward to their next thing that they're gonna do. I thought it was a big step up from what I believe was their first film, and hell of a job, man. Keep them coming. I enjoy movies that are different. This movie is unlike any other movie that I've ever seen, and I enjoyed that aspect of it. I don't feel like I got that. I didn't get that feeling from Talk to Me, where I felt like that was an original story, but it was also jumbled up and transposed with a lot of different elements of many different mediums that books I've read. So, I mean, obviously, it had some horror tropes. This one doesn't lean on those, the tropes of horror movies. It just is an original story with a horrific premise that is quite chilling. And like I said, the shocking parts were shocking, but in a good way. So, bring her back. I'm going to give this one I'll give it a 6.5. No, I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7. It's a good, solid movie. A lot of you will probably like it more than me. If you don't like it, I'd really like to know why that in the comments. So, leave a comment. I'm waiting for somebody.